Yes, it is true. He's been fist bumping and mingling with members of the opposition coalition who've been pulling out all the stops, trying to woo him and to politically connect with him. But Senator Ali Ndume, maverick as he can be, says he's not that maverick, even though he's sympathetic to at least some, if not all, the political messages from the opposition, one of which is that the politicians in power, in effect the ruling APC, are running this country into the ground. But where they differ is that Senator Ndume wants to change things from within, stilted as that may be, whereas the opposition coalition are attempting to do it from without. But there is no doubt that Senator Ndume's activism continues to, at least peripherally, shape Nigerian politics, perhaps even more so than the legitimate opposition has been able to do. And the way he goes about it, by poking his finger in the eye of the ruling party, has many Nigerians enthralled as he continues to decry what he says this country has become, distorted and endangered by politicians and a byword for insecurity, poverty and economic uncertainty. And the former Senate Chief Whip, Senator Ali Ndume, representing Borno South, joins me now in the studio. How utterly nice to see you again.
Hi, Charles.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in. And I was very worried about you getting here because there's some
I told you,
serious traffic outside this building.
Yeah, well, fortunately, by the time I came in, it has gone down a bit.
You waved a magic wand, did you?
And I used the back,
you use the back channels.
The back channels.
Like Nigerian politicians usually do, back channels.
No, we don't use the back channels.
You mean you don't use the back channels?
Okay, Charles.
But let me start by asking you, from the point of view of the APC, a party that you still belong to, what is your assessment of the opposition coalition that's coming together to challenge the APC and President Tinubu in 2027?
Let me say that this coalition that is developing outside the major political party, that is our APC, is, to me, a positive development in democracy. There can be no effective democracy without opposition, which the major supposedly be the opposition has failed to provide. That is the PDP, Labour, and other parties.
Right.
Instead, they are turning the Nigerian democracy into something else. You can see the area of decampment, that means you're telling the public out there that you have no principles. You only need a platform. And even if you need a platform, you should be where your conscience will be with you. But that is not the case. And it is very, very dangerous for democracy itself. If there is no visible, effective opposition, that democracy is under threat of its own. I can see people, as you rightly said recently, politicians, not people. Because I said last time, what I see now is that politicians are decamping while the voters or the people that elect us are not. So you see a ship, as the president said, there is vacancy in the ship. But if you overload that ship, it is likely going to capsize. And if it capsizes, you lose everybody.
So potentially it could be
and that is what
a
I
big
fear.
challenge for the APC.
It's a big challenge. When you open your ship, if it is, even if it is a trailer that has 4 tires, talk less of ship. If you keep overloading the ship, because others are desperate, more especially because most of them are not coming based on principles. But I know that many of them are jumping ship because of this indirect stick and carrot political approach. Majority. And that is not healthy at all.
Right. So basically...
So I'm doing what my conscience tells me. At this age, I have to do that. And I feel that when you build a house and it's leaking or if something is happening with it, you just don't leave the house again. Or, you know. No, you try to fix it. That's what I'm
but isn't
doing.
that because some would argue, because I mean, you didn't start at the National Assembly, you didn't start in elected office as a member of the APC. The APC didn't exist when you got in there.
Yeah, I was part of the... Okay, that's another thing.
So you then carpet crossed yourself from one party to the other.
No, that was not it. We were the founding members of APC.
No, I understand that, but you came from another party.
Yes, from...
But your party then merged into the APC.
Our party, APC, ANPP then.
Right.
But that time I was in PDP.
Yeah, you were in PDP before you went to ANP.
Yes.
And then you went into APC.
Yes. No, I was in ANPP.
And then it merged with the...
I went to PDP on sabbatical, what I would call.
I like that. What does sabbatical mean?
That means...
in terms of your political sort of movement.
Because I was virtually forced out. That time I was in the House of Rep.
You mean forced out of the ANPP?
Yes.
Right.
Then I went to, and PDP opened their arms and received me 100 days before election.
Yeah, but that's what the APC is doing with these defectors. Why are you different from the people who are defecting now?
I'm not saying I'm different.
Right. Okay.
I'm already in, and I'm not saying they should not come in.
Because, I mean, the point, some would say that the reason you're sticking with the APC, which is what happens with a lot of Nigerian politicians, which is why you're not seeing politicians leaving the APC, but people coming into it, is because the APC is in power.
No.
If it wasn't in power,
No.
a lot of you might have moved on.
No. All my life, politically, I have been in the opposition. And in fact, that is why you see me, my disposition is more,
The PDP wasn't in the opposition when you went in.
Yeah, but I was playing opposition role in PDP. Yes, go and check my records. I went to prison during PDP.
No, I do understand, because I remember you from that period.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that you've been consistent.
On speaking my mind.
Yeah,
When
that
I
is
see
true.
any... Obasanjo, let me tell you, let me even start. I started in 2003 in the House of Rep. Then Obasanjo was the president. And Obasanjo is like a father to me. You know, like just real father.
Right.
I grew up with some of his children in Port Harcourt when he was our GOC. But I was one of the frontliners against that time. I stand for that.
So he had you in his sights then, as a result.
No, he always tell me, even now, go to Obasanjo, go to Ebekuta, he treats me like his son. The same thing with this president. And one of those, as I told you, until recently when he became the president, I used to go to, Tinubu's bedroom, both in Bodilon and here in Lagos House. And he knows me very well. And if we meet casually, he will tell me, I hear you. Charles, I'm 65. I've been in this business 24 years now. God has done everything to me.
You've been very fortunate.
Yes, very, very fortunate.
And
the only thing I have to do right now, and I would prefer to die doing it, is to speak the truth and do what is right. And that is what I believe. That's why I will not jump the ship.
Right.
But when the ship is getting overloaded with unnecessary cargo, and that ship may capsize, then I better consider the small, watch out, the small ship.
You mean the little boats that are around the place? Well, let's look at those boats, because you were the Director General of Rotimi Amechi's campaign when he was running against President Tinubu to be the APC nominee in 2023. And he came second, beating out the likes of the Vice President Yemi Osibanjo and many others. He was finally beaten, albeit by a wide margin, by Bola Tinubu. So you did a pretty good job as the DG of his campaign.
Yeah. We had 315 votes. We gave them a good fight. And then after that, we thought things would go on fine, actually. Because I remember vividly that Tinubu, the governor of Lagos, the current Minister of Defense, and who else, came to, Tinubu called me to say he wants to come and meet with myself, Amechi, and so we agreed. And at that time, I remember I was to go for Hajj.
You were to go for?
Hajj.
Okay, right.
And so the president said, look, we want you to come on board and let's work together. And we agreed. And then we agreed that we will meet after I come back. And that meeting did not hold. That was how they abandoned Amici.
Right.
So it's not his fault.
So that's where the simmering anger is coming from, is it?
Yeah, and but you know, as you see, Amici worked for the president. I can tell you that.
You mean after he lost? He then
after he lost,
sort of started working.
He was part of the PCC.
Right.
And our team, like Burate, the former IG, and many others, joined hands. Rufai was supposed to be on our side. And somehow, you know, he moved over. And I think these are part of the things that are annoying him or frustrating. I think...
When you say he moved off, what do you mean?
He was on our side.
Yeah. You said he was supposed to be on your side.
Yeah, Amichi's side.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So after Tinubu was nominated...
No. Before Tinubu was nominated,
right,
he made up his mind to support Tinubu.
Okay.
And Tinubu, as he rightly said,
right,
that he should not leave and that he should come on board. So, since then, I've not been that to Rufai.
Right.
Because he abandoned our group. You understand? Went to support Tinubu fully.
Right.
And, you know, he really mobilized. He did a lot. Then, you know, Tinubu is there. Asked him to join the government. But somehow, up to now, Charles, I don't understand what happened, you know.
You mean between
them?
Yeah,
but that is not my business. And I was there sometimes say, okay, you did that to us, so. but
it's payback.
It's a payback to yourself.
Right.
But I cannot understand up to now. I was the chief whip. Rufai came to the chamber and we almost like asked him to take a bow and go, or even to just lay out some plans.
Right. That is after he had been nominated as minister.
Yes. And I told you, I'm not a Rufai's fan or friend or anything, but truth must be told. You see, that was where Mr. President got it wrong. You don't form your government with dependents. And most of it is the president is a kingmaker, remember? So when a kingmaker becomes a king, then there's a problem which he must identify himself so that he can have people that will stand up to him and tell him the truth. This is now what is lacking in this government. And when I said, and I still stand on it until there is a change, the government of Tinubu is dominated by Kleptocrats and Kleptocrats. I don't want to even respond to Bayo where you say it's a lone wolf.
That's Bayo Onanuga, the presidential spokesman.
Bayo Onanuga is just in Nigeria. He is a domestic staff to the president. I am a senator 4 times. How dare he calls me, but I'm happy he called me lone wolf. He's a magadog.
Well, you forgot the word frustrated. He said frustrated lone wolf.
No, I'm not frustrated. I contested for
I didn't
Senate.
say you were. I'm saying that's what he called you.
Charles, why would I be frustrated? I contested to be a senator. I won 4 times. I won 2 times in the House of Rep. Where does the frustration come? I am a son of nobody who became somebody without knowing anybody. Ask the president. I'm not his dependent, one of these dependents. I'm his ally.
Well, you are the Nigerian dream, if there's any such thing.
I don't know about that. But let me tell you one thing that I like and I copy from Mr. President. He can get somebody to argue on that. If we were to swap position, and I'm the president, doing the same thing that he is doing now, he would have been on the street. He has done it before, to protest. Even if the government belongs to him, if the wrong thing is happening. Even today, somebody from the government is saying, look, why don't you come over? I say, I will not come over. I'm a senator. If the president, under normal democratic settings, the president is supposed to lobby me on issues. Because he doesn't have a vote for me, I have voted for him. Whether in the Senate, whether in the general election, or anything. And you know, I strongly believe that this power, or this position, I Ndume, believe that it is God that will give me or will take away from me. Not anybody. But it's a responsibility on me, and as my religious say, to speak the truth, even if I'm alone. And that's almost what is happening now in APC. They will come around and say, you are trying, but you are hitting too hard. I said, did I use physical punch on anybody? And you know what now? Because they don't know what to say. They always like an onogo will call me wolf, will call me lone wolf, will call me frustrated. He is the one that is frustrated. You know why?
But it's his job, though, isn't it?
It's not his job.
I mean, it's his job to respond to people who attack the president.
No. His job
or
is
who overly criticize the president.
Advisor on information and strategy.
Yeah, but he's a spokesman.
Look, let me learn. Look at what they did now. Embarrassing Mr. President when he honored some people. They honored they honored a living man posthumously. 2 people. When I say there are Kleptocrats there, and they will insult me, but what is this? Error of omission, commission, and stupidity? It was embarrassing on Mr. President. If I was the president, whoever is responsible for that, I will fire him and get somebody that knows the job.
Well, let me move to, because we were talking about Rotimi Amechi, for example, who is now a member of the opposition coalition.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the
And he's also a member of APC.
Yeah, he is. I mean, many of them are still in their parties.
He has not resigned yet.
Yeah, they're still in their parties. But are you a member of that opposition coalition? Because I know that, at least I understand, that he and some of the other opposition figures are trying to convince you to cross over to that opposition coalition. I mean,
see, as long in the next, going forward, I will keep on speaking out and hoping that Mr. President...
No, what I'm saying is that, are you in this opposition
I'm
coalition?
aware of the...
But you've gone to their meetings, have you?
Yes, I went to several meetings.
Right.
I attend the meetings.
So in a sense, you are a member of the opposition coalition.
No, there is no opposition.
You still remain in the APC.
Not now. That is not to say so. When I want to take a decision to do something, I will not, I will not hide it from you.
Yeah.
I still believe that this president can fix these things.
But have they...
No, wait, let me tell you. Failure to fix those things
might cause you to move.
Yes.
So
I will not have that, because it will sink.
Right. But have they been making...
The overloaded ship will sink.
Have they been making overtures to you?
Yeah.
To try and get you to come over?
And I told them no. You see, I don't want to jump from frying pan to fire.
What's the fire then?
I don't know yet. I have to make sure. I have to be
sure.
But
I mean, they're starting a new party. At least they haven't registered it yet, but they're trying to register.
Let me tell you, I'm a loyal person. My loyalty and this thing politically, it is the truth. I have my reason for being loyal to Amechi.
Right.
I believe he can do it. That's why you
believe he can be president?
Yeah, better
successful
president. A good, successful president.
Right.
Now, I believe too, Tinubu can be successful president. That was, my expectation is high. But if he continues this way, then let me tell you, Charles, whether you load all other people or other governors, you are just endangering the APC by pushing it towards capsizing level. When you overload a ship,
it might keel over.
Everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, beyond the APC, you've also been, as you said, in the National Assembly for a very long time.
Yeah.
How do you assess the democratic evolution of that assembly? Do you think it's become more or less democratic as time has gone by?
It has become less democratic. Let me say it's very unfortunate. If you look at what the Senate or the National Assembly historically is built, Senate is supposed to be a house, particularly Senate is supposed to be a house of deliberation, where people will deliberate on policies of government, actions of government, spendings of government. That we are not doing now. We are more of an approving institutions, just giving necessary, unnecessary support to the executive. That division of executive, legislature, and judiciary is no longer there. Government have to some extent now be personalized and privatized. I can tell you that I, as a senator, is not quite even abreast of what is going on. You are supposed to deliberate. I told you yesterday when we spoke, Kobe Booker broke the record.
Cory Booker.
Cory Booker.
Yeah. The American.
He spoke
Senate
against Donald Trump's policy for 25 hours, 4 minutes. And at one point, he was even abusing Trump. If I dare do that in National Assembly here, the Army, Fire Brigade, everybody will be waiting for me at the gate.
Yeah, but let me ask you an important thing before we run out of time, because a big issue that has come up is the issue of security in this country recently. Your state is Borno State, which has been in the sights of Boko Haram and other sort of militant organizations for quite some time. We also know, and I want you to kind of connect the dots for us because you're very good at doing that. Moving beyond Borno State, which borders a lot of other West African states. We know, for example, that in the neighborhood, President Tinubu has handed over the leadership of the ECOWAS bloc to Sierra Leone. But in the context of insecurity in your state and what is going on in West Africa and all the rest of it, what condition has he left the subcontinent for his successor?
Honestly, that is an area where if I had opportunity, and the president lost it. When he was the chairman, Nigeria naturally.
You mean chairman of ECOWAS?
Yes.
Right.
The leader. And then there was this trial of what happened in Niger, Burkina Faso, and it was not well handled. And that too, I don't blame it on him. But because the president has been cocooned, and those that would help would not necessarily push themselves. He is supposed to, Buhari is there, he's in Daura, Babangida is there, Obasanjo is there, Abdul Salam is there, Gawan is there, all of them are respected former presidents that would have resolved those issues, that would have even avoided this, their exit from ECOWAS. It has done a blow. In fact, historically now, it will go down that it was during his chairmanship that this thing happened.
But what are the implications for security?
You can see now we are bearing the brunt. Because while they are there trying to block their country and protect it, the leftover of the ISWAP, this security, Makura.
Lakarua.
Yes. And even other new ones. Now look at what is happening in Benue and Plateau. You cannot put it together because I don't want to believe that, these things. And you see, the herdsmen have a network in Africa. Not necessarily this thing. And the terrorists are taking advantage of it. The brunt of it now has been felt by Benin, Togo, Nigeria's case, where it's already infiltrated. You see, so I was thinking that the president would do whatever possible to make sure that he hand over a more united. But the chances are, well, he's still the biggest brother or the eldest brother or the big brother of ECOWAS. I don't think he has lost it all, but he should put in effort using the other heads of state to resolve this issue, because we are better off more united, more in number, than losing out, I think 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3.
Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. 3 of them. And you can see that the danger of it is they seem to be doing better. Or they are happy with themselves. Or at least they have their own independence and dictate their own, even getting to now they want to introduce their own common currency, which the ECOWAS have been struggling to do. So I would say that his tenure was marred by this unfortunate event.
Right. Okay. On that note, I want to thank you very much indeed. Senator Ali Ndume is a former Senate Chief Whip. He represents Borno South, and he is a ranking member of the APC.